Hey guys, guess what? In the Nashville game, we got to see Brandon Bussey do snow angels while also making saves. Like, my gosh, Brandon Bussey, like, he's just. I will admit that Nashville game, I'm just like, how is he making these saves? Because he's doing backflips and all this type of stuff. Wow. And of course, we'll get to that game here. But first things first, you guys probably noticed it is just me, Sam Wallace, in this episode. Andrew could not make it for this episode, but I'm sure he'll be back in the next episode. Another thing, too, is we have a great partnership with SeatGeek. You get $20 off of your first purchase if you use promo code Caniac Reports. All one word is a great deal if you're trying to save money on some tickets, whether that's to a live concert, comedy show, or to a hockey game. And remember, for those of you who are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please, we do have the Caniac Report Plus. It's just another way for you to listen to our episodes, but ad free. And also remember, if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you never miss another episode. And also, if you're listening to us wherever you get your podcasts, please leave a rating and a review, and also give us a follow. It really, really does help us out. And just going to let you guys know, the day right after Christmas, because Christmas falls on a Thursday this year, there will not be an episode. So just letting you guys starting to know that now so that you guys can prepare for no episode that day. All right. So a few things I want to cover when it comes to NHL news. We do have two games to discuss, the Nashville game and the San Jose game. And I'm just going to let you guys know now, with me soloing it for this episode. I am recording most of this episode before the San Jose game. Obviously, when I recap San Jose game, I already have watched it, but just letting you guys know that. But the NHL Players Association, so we kind of got word on what the owners of the NHL's view is on the rink over in Milan for the Winter Olympics. But now we're getting word from what the Players Association are saying about it. And this is coming from Ron Hainsey. So, former Hurricane. He's now, like, I think, has an executive position within the NHLPA. But he said that they aren't really concerned about the length of the rink, but they're more concerned about just the quality of the ice. And to me, you know what? That makes sense because the Players Association should look after the safety of its own players. And honestly, while I might not like the length of the rink, especially in an Olympic setting, I do think the most important thing, and I would agree with Ron Hainsey on this, is the quality of the ice. If the quality of the ice is bad, I mean, us Canes fans, we know this. Sometimes the ice isn't always great at Lenovo, but when it's not great, it can affect a player's performance. So that is the most important thing. And we've seen performances not do so good with the ice being bad. So I am in total agreement with Ron Hainsey on this. And I mean, if the ice is not up to good quality ice of skating, being skated on, then that's really, I think, going to dampen the relationship even further because the owners aren't really all that happy. We know Gary Bettman isn't with the rink over at Milan, but again, we'll see. And I'm kind of reserving my judgment for that rink, probably until the whole Olympics on the hockey side of things, of course, ends. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, the relationship between the Olympic Committee over there and the NHL and the NHLPA. The next thing I want to discuss is that and I'm just going to mention this briefly because honestly, there's just not a lot of news around the NHL. There just isn't. But the Board of Governors is going to be meeting on Monday. For those of you who don't know, the Board of Governors is comprised of all the owners of the teams. And it doesn't From what I heard, there isn't going to be any discussion of an expansion, so we can already throw that out. But just going to let you guys know that can't really expand on that at all. But the next thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about a specific team right now, and that is the Florida Panthers. And the reason why I kind of want to talk about them is this is a team. The last time I checked the standings, I think they were second to last in the Eastern Conference. And again, this is part of the reason why I like to put in some NHL news in here because, I mean, obviously, it's hard to predict the future, of course, but if Florida continues on that trend of maybe not making the playoffs, that's a big opportunity for Carolina already. Now, there is another team above that are in the playoffs that I probably would be concerned with if I was Carolina, and that's Tampa because they have Vasilevsky. But if Florida misses the playoffs, Carolina needs to pounce on this chance. And here's my prediction of Florida. I'm just going to lay this out for you here for you guys. I still think Florida makes the playoffs. I really, really do. I'd be shocked if they did not make the playoffs. Now, obviously, they have injuries. Andrei Barkov is out. Matthew Tkachuk is out, even though he's going to be coming in probably around the time of the new year. But regardless, I mean, you never know. You really don't when it comes to the NHL. So Florida somehow does miss the playoffs. Carolina really needs to pounce on that, even though I do think by season's end, Florida is already good enough. I think even without Barkov, even I would say probably without Kachuk, they are still a playoff team because you still have Sam Reinhart. You still have Brad Marchand, who I think is still a very, very good player. Anton Frendel, E2 Luostarinen, Aaron Ekblad on the back end. And I mean, this is still a team that's still really, really good. I'd be shocked if they didn't make the playoffs. But I'm just letting you guys know that I'm sure you diehard Canes fans probably do know that because I'm sure you probably look at the standings as frequently as I do. But it's just interesting. I will admit it is, even though I do think they're going to make the playoffs, but you never know. So that's kind of it. That's all I wanted to talk about when it comes to the NHL. But now with the Hurricanes, one thing that is somewhat of a positive is KK's back. And listen, I'm happy KK is back to being healthy. I really, really am. Now we'll get to the Nashville game because him and he wasn't the only one, of course. But in that third period, it wasn't the best. But KK being back, I mean, I do think that's good, obviously, because it gives you more options. At the same time, you guys probably have been listening to this podcast for quite some time. Know my feelings of KK. I've always thought with KK, and I'm going to bring in Jankowski on this just because you kind of have to in a situation like this, I think. And the fact that KK, his potential is higher than Jankowski, and I would agree with that. But at the same time, when he is at his low end, playing not very, very good, that's lower than I would say probably Jankowski's performance. I don't really like to have I don't think I've had a financial analogy in this episode, but think of it, I kind of think of it like this. KK offers more risk, high reward possibly, and Jankowski's that like mutual. Again, kind of comparing this to like mutual funds here, but Jankowski is kind of like more of a safer bet type of fund. That's because that's just how I kind of see it, to be honest. And I know there's some KK defenders out there, and I understand it. It's just from what I have seen from KK and comparing him to Jankowski, I've always thought Jankowski is kind of the safer bet between the two because KK kind of like, I mean, we could say Kachekov probably is a roller coaster. There are times where he can be very, very good. There are times where he is physical, and when he's physical, he's good. We've noticed that. But at the same time, KK, when he is not on, he hurts this team. We already saw that. I know before the season even started, he was kind of. Again, I don't want to blame one game on one dude, of course, but I mean, remember that penalty in that last game where we got eliminated against Florida, and that kind of started Florida to come back. Like you can't have stuff like that, and it's just kind of lets me be frustrated, very, very frustrated with KK. But that's that's all I'm gonna say of KK. Hey, I have not said my feelings of KK for quite some time now. Uh, at least I think I didn't. But regardless, the next piece of news is Slavin. He is back at practice in a regular jersey. No, he's. I have not seen the lineup for today's game against San Jose, but I don't think he's going to be back for the San Jose game. I think if he does, it's probably going to be. I mean, Brandon said he's still ways away. I say probably late this week, maybe late this week, because if you're in a regular jersey, you're coming back pretty soon. I would say at least within a week. So that's kind of my projection. By looking at the Hurricane schedule here, I can probably figure out. Uh, let's see, maybe the Philadelphia game uh, on Saturday. I could see the Philadelphia game, him coming back during that game, but we'll see. Obviously, with Jacob Slavin, and the next thing I wanted to talk about, and honestly, Andrew and I kind of forgot about this because we did hit a new month with it being December. I'm probably going to give Andrew some time in the next episode to give his 3 stars of the month of November. But with me soloing it in this episode, I'm just going to go ahead and give you guys my 3 stars of the month for the Hurricanes in the month of November. To me, the third star I'm going to put as Brandon Bussey just because he's been playing so well and he's been making remarkable saves. And the difference between him and Anderson, as we know, is Bussey is giving this team a chance to win. He basically stole that game against Calgary. And that was in the month of November. That was the last game in the month of November. But even before then, Bussey was playing very, very good. So he kind of is my third star of the month. I would say my second star of the month is Shane Gostisbehere. I mean, whenever he takes a shift on the ice, he is noticeable. He's pretty flashy with the puck, obviously, but he plays so well. I agree with what Trip Tracy said, to be honest, and the fact that Ghost has really upped his defensive game, and by doing that, he hasn't let his offensive game go down. His offensive game, I would say, has probably gone up as well. Like he's over a point per game. Ghost is just playing fantastic. And then I would probably give my first star to the guy who has been leading our team in goal scoring, and that's Seth Jarvis. Jarvis, man, I think he's going to hit 40 goals. If you go to, I believe it's Elite Prospects, he is projected to hit 50 goals. Now, I think us Canes fans, we will be over the moon if Seth Jarvis hit 50 goals. Now, I don't think he is. I'm sure a lot of us fans probably don't think he's going to get 50, but if he can hit 40, I think we'd be very, very happy. And I think the most important thing is we probably found our 40 goal scorer, which for some time it was supposed to be Svetch for some time, and then I think we kind of accept that Svetch is not really going to be that 40 goal scorer, even though I still think he can be like a 25 to 30 goal scorer. But Jarvis, man, he has such a great goal scoring ability. So I have him as my first star of the month of November. So I am going to get to a sponsor now, and then I'm going to be recapping both the Nashville and the San Jose game. Every yard, every sack, every interception, and every touchdown. With Pick 6, DraftKings' newest game, every snap can turn into a big time payout. This isn't just watching the game, this is playing to win. Here's how it works: pick more or less on two or more player stats. The better your picks, the bigger your payout. It's that simple. And here's the kickoff bonus: new DraftKings customers get $50 in Pick 6 credits with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. You know the game. Now make it pay. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN. Play just $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Make the call, ride the upside. In partnership with DraftKings Pick 6, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer. All right, so the Nashville game. And obviously we knew heading into this game, Canes were in some type of funk because like the past three games, we know it hasn't really been Hurricanes hockey. Now, obviously, you had the great win against Winnipeg. Chris Jarvis had a hat trick. But, like, even the game before that, that was the Rangers game. And obviously, we're in the 7-game homestand. But, Hurricanes, not, I mean, I feel like there's a theme here in the fact that they look probably very, very good. I think if you follow by the eye test, the Canes look really, really good. But at the same time, I think there are some games, and I think we kind of saw that a little bit with the Rangers game. I thought we saw quite a bit of it with the Toronto game, and the fact that, yeah, they might have looked really, really good. The offensive high danger chances weren't really there. We had the puck a ton. We had the puck a ton in their own zone, but it's just getting those good high danger chances. And I'm sure if you guys who've listened to our last episode, Andrew and I kind of started to criticize the Hurricanes a little bit just because even though like they're getting some chances, it's not really a lot of grade A chances. And in this Nashville game, granted to the Hurricanes, I thought they really showed how good they could be. At least for the first two periods. Now, I'll get to the third period here. Now, in the first period, you have Taylor Hall scoring. Funny enough, I actually thought that goal was Blake's goal, but I can kind of see where I was like, okay, it kind of went off of Taylor Hall's skate because obviously it started out with like massive humanity right in front of Saros, who I thought Saros had honestly a really, really good game. It's just the defense in front of him is just so bad. Like we saw how bad Nashville played with their defense. Oh my gosh! You can tell why Nashville's like toward the bottom of the standings because of how defensively they played in this game. But Hall, he gets the goal off of the skate because Blake kind of shot it, and before that shot, you had Stankoven kind of giving a sneaky pass there to Blake. But that was just a great goal. And we loved it because that was a power play goal. And we were really, really happy. Lots of penalties, I will admit, were called in this game, which kind of did drag the game, I thought, just a little bit. Not much, but just a little bit because, we know the game started 7:10ish whatsoever at puck drop. And we didn't get out there till 9:45. It was a pretty long game, and I do think them the officials calling a lot of penalties kind of were a part of the reason why. But regardless, Hall scores, power play goal, excellent. And then you have Ehlers scoring. To me, that's probably I would say that's my favorite goal of the game just because it was a nice setup play. Obviously, Ghost, he was able to catch a buck the puck on the blue line, passes it to Jarvis. Jarvis sees a lane where he can pass to Ehlers. And that was just a great pass. And Ehlers, he was able to shoot it so well right behind Saros, makes it 2-0. Great goal from Ehlers. And another thing, too, again, I'm kind of referencing back to the previous episode. Like, what's nice is in this game, which I criticized in the last episode, is we kind of saw the secondary scoring taking over. Obviously, we got to see Aho score, which is good, but you're going to need some of that secondary scoring, and it was nice to see that from Ehlers there. I mean, obviously, Jarvis got a point and Ghost gets a point, but I mean, when it comes to like just the getting points on the board, like that Hall goal. Is he part of the secondary scoring? I think he is. But Blake and Stankoven getting assists, like I mean, even though I love Stankoven, it's been a long time since he scored a goal, whereas even getting a point. So I was very happy to see Stankoven getting an assist there. And obviously Blake, big game from him against Nashville today. I was really happy just because I did not think Blake was looking good heading into the Nashville game, because I thought there were a few games where he just did not look like himself at all. But toward the end of the first period, back to the game, obviously, you have Carrier scoring from Martinook and Stahl. You can tell that was a hard working goal, a lot like the Taylor Hall goal. And Carrier was able to kind of bat it up near the far post glove side on Saros. So it's 3-0 heading into the second period. And I was really happy it was 3-0 just because I thought Carolina, if it was 2-0 heading to the second period, I actually would have been a little bit concerned just because Carolina has given up 2-goal leads before. And I do think the most dangerous position sometimes in the game is being up 2-0 very early on in the game. But regardless, Carolina has a 3-goal lead. And honestly, I thought at that point, I was like, okay, Carolina, I mean, could Nashville still come back? They could, because it's still early in the game, but you're up 3-0. That's already a hill for Nashville to conquer right there. And so in the second period, again, I thought Carolina was excellent in the second period. Like they showed a lot of good, very, very good offensive chances on Saros. And I do think part of it is because Nashville was really, really bad, but Carolina really, really showed it. I was really happy. I remember before the game, I was talking to the former co-host of the podcast, Sam, and I was like, dude, I hope we win against Nashville because we barely won against Calgary. But I thought offensively we needed a game like this. Offensively. Because, again, third period wasn't great, but in the second period, you have Jackson Blake scoring from Ehlers and Miller. I think that was a 4-on-4 goal, to be honest. Yeah, I think it was. I'm pretty certain of that. But, man, that was an incredible play from Blake. Wow. He just came into the zone. We know he can be a wizard with the puck. And he was able to do some crafty stick handling moves on the puck, and he kind of scored it backhand on Saros. Oh, beautiful goal. That was, I believe, right above the blocker of Saros. So it was just a beautiful goal. 4-0 Carolina. And heading into the third, we were like, okay, I'm Carolina, they got this. They really do. They're not going to lose it. And they didn't. I mean, it would have been very hard for Nashville to tie it. Even though, credit to Nashville. I will give them some credit. In the third period, they still worked like they were still in the game. So I will give Nashville some credit there. But Carolina in the third period, I mean, obviously at the start, I mean, I kind of thought Carolina was playing kind of the way they did in the first two periods. Carolina was playing great. They were dominant in those two periods. And you have Aho scoring, making it 5-0. I mean, it was great to see Aho scoring because even though with Aho, I think he's been playing good. Again, he hasn't really been getting actual goals. He's just been mainly getting assists. So it was really nice to see Aho scoring. It was on a breakaway. And I'm telling you, when it comes to Aho on breakaways, it's pretty much, I think, certain. If you do not go 5 hole, or if you don't try to juke the goalie out in general, you're probably going to score. Because if you guys remember, he had another breakaway. This was in the playoffs last season against Florida in the very last game, where it was just him and Bobrovsky. He didn't make any move at all. He just shot the puck and he scored. And Aho, man, you have a good shot. Kind of like with Nikishin a little bit, shoot the puck. I know you're a pass first type of guy, but I like to see you shoot the puck a little bit more, Aho. So it was nice for him to shoot the puck there. Obviously, you kind of had to if you're on the breakaway. And it's 5-0 Carolina. We love seeing that. But then, obviously, third period after that, a little bit of a nosedive in terms of just the performance, because and just I really thought, like, after that Aho goal, Carolina was like, oh, we can sit back now. Nothing to be concerned about. And I thought they sat back way too much, because defensively, I did not think Carolina was really, really good. Again, I'll give Nashville credit, but Carolina, they needed to be a little bit better in that third period. Really better defensively. Like, it was like they're just letting they're inviting Nashville into their own zone. Like, please come. And I was like, come on, guys, don't do this. And another player I want to talk about in this game, again, I thought first two periods he was great, but Nikishin, he had a rough third period. Very rough third period. In fact, I mean, I would say probably the bunting goal, which was a power play goal for Nashville. Another power play goal given up. But regardless, bunting, he scores. And honestly, I don't really blame anybody on that goal. I thought that was just a very good play on Bussy. And again, Bussy, like, that game, gosh, I thought he kind of turned it up a notch with his performance. He was making saves like crazy. Stamkos, he made my gosh, that one save, I think it was in the first period that Bussy made, where the puck was up in the air and he somehow was able to stop that puck from possibly flying into the net with his skate, with him being fully flat on the ice. Like, my gosh, what a freaking save. And I will admit, I do think, and I think this is part of why Nashville is so bad. I with some of those saves, again, Bussy playing freaking fantastic. Like, those saves were just phenomenal. His workload wasn't much, but the work that he did had to make in that game, obviously, were very good quality chances. I mean, I do think part of it too, and I'll say probably a small part, is Nashville, I think, is they're a little bit too much in their heads. Just from seeing all those opportunities go to waste, like, you can tell they're kind of inside their own head there a little bit. But regardless, Bussy just playing freaking fantastic. And then you have Blake scoring from Ehlers. That makes it 6-1. So at least Carolina got goals. But defensively, third period, it really wasn't good. And to me, the problems that I had, obviously defensively, they were a little bit loose, but Nashville kind of exploded that with 2 goals toward the end of the game there with Wood and Forsberg. The Wood goal, I would say that's on Nikishin right there. I don't know what Nikishin's doing right there, but I think he probably just forgot Wood was right there, right in front of Bussy. And I will admit, Wood, that was a fantastic in between the leg shot. It really, really was. But regardless, you can't let a player like that come in all alone on Bussy. So again, I don't blame these goals on Bussy. Really, really don't. Especially the last goal, which was the Forsberg goal. And I know Philip Forsberg is a great player. I think he is Nashville's best forward. But KK, man, you can't just let him get get in on you on that and position himself for a tip in on a goal. Because you look at that play, right? Minutes or seconds probably before that goal, KK just lets Forsberg into the crease. And you can't let that happen, KK. You just can't. But regardless, and the most important thing, the Canes won. And with them getting 6 goals again, I thought offensively they really needed a game like that because we know the game set before this game a little bit rusty when it comes to the offense, but man, a lot better. A great win against Nashville. And now it's time for the San Jose game. Boy, this game. We were hoping they would build off of the Nashville game, weren't we? And I know our record with celebration games, whether it's a retirement game or because obviously the San Jose game was the 20th anniversary part of 2 games. This game and then the Columbus game, both part of the 20th anniversary of us winning the cup. Uh, I will admit one thing. This had nothing to do with the game, but I did like seeing all the players and coaches coming back. It's nice to see Peter Laviolette sounding the horn, Chadler Rose sound the horn. So I'll admit that stuff, awesome, really was. But the game itself, this is the offense is definitely becoming a concern. So first period, I thought it was a passable first period actually for the Canes. I didn't think it was bad, but you had Colin Graff scoring, and this was on Kochekov, who did start in net this game. And that goal, I don't blame on Kochekov. In fact, I don't really. I mean, if you wanted to probably nitpick this goal, you could probably maybe blame the two Hurricane skaters who was right there with Celebrini, but he just made a superstar elite move to give it to pass it to Graff for basically a tip in. So I mean, I'm kind of giving the Hurricanes a bit of pass just because I thought that goal showed more of Celebrini just showing how elite that guy is, and he was elite in that game. I believe he got I think a couple of points that game. Yeah, he got a goal and 2 assists. So yeah, he kind of dominated that game a little bit on the Hurricanes. So even though he's great, I mean, this is a game you can win. I know San Jose is a good team. I realize that. But part of how the Hurricanes are good is being dominant at home. And they have not been on this homestand. 3-3 is unacceptable. It really is. With this loss, I'm like, you know what? This homestand, because of it, not good. It really isn't. And obviously you have Jordan Staal scoring on the power play. That was his first power play goal in 4 years for the Hurricanes. That was an interesting stat right there. But he got an assist from Svash and Ghost. And then the second period, probably the worst period that the Hurricanes played in this game. No offense whatsoever. And San Jose, they showed how one thing, if you notice with these goals, except for maybe the empty net goal, maybe, is that this team is exceptionally fast and they're very, very skilled. They're fun to watch. They really, really are. But you have John Kleinberg scoring, and I thought that was kind of the goal to show just how fast they were. And none of our lines could handle them. Jordan Staal line couldn't handle them. Aho, times where the Aho line was struggling against Celebrini's line. And that goal right there, that Kleinberg goal, I mean, even though the Staal line and the Aho line weren't out there, it was the KK line that was kind of helmed in. I mean, there's one player who's not covering anybody, and guess who that player was? Jesperi Kokniemi. So far, since he's come back, he has made two plays that defensively have been terrible. And I will say, if I was Rod Brindamore, the head coach, I would sit KK the next game, and I honestly would put Jankowski in. Because I think at this point, Jankowski is a safer bet to not screw your team up right now. So the next goal, which is the Winberg goal, this is probably out of all the three goals, a goal maybe Kochetkov could have stopped because he did give up a bit of a juicy rebound, but at the same time, we had two Hurricane skaters right there on Eklund, who kind of shot the puck, and obviously Winberg goes rebound goal, obviously for him. I mean, another power play goal given up. So penalty kill has kind of been, it has not been lights out. It's been probably average at best. And then the third period, I mean, you can tell Carolina was playing with urgency. And while I think urgency can be good, you can tell they were really, I mean, you can tell they were trying for that goal, but they couldn't. And one thing about today's game in the NHL, and I think this is part, I mean, I know it's an 82 game season. I don't want to overreact at the same time. They are in a funk right now. They just are offensively. But I mean, that third period, to me, it was all urgency. But at the same time, urgency can only take you so far. There wasn't really any. Again, I might be nitpicking here, but I didn't see any drive. I didn't see any precision with their playmaking in order to try and get a goal. And credit to San Jose. They played fantastic. I mean, they just didn't have to make a mistake, basically, in that third period. But they were fantastic. And what I meant by fantastic, I meant the second period. They were good. We weren't. And again, I know there are some fans that might not like this, but if part of your system is waiting for the other team to mess up with the forecheck, that's why I have questions about Brindamore. That's why. But we'll see, obviously. Do I think they can get out of this dry spell they are in offensively? They might. But right now, they're currently in one, and they need to focus on getting themselves out of it. You look at the standings right now, I mean, you can kind of look at it in two ways. You go on a few games. I mean, if you go on a losing streak, and thankfully the Hurricanes haven't, let's say you do, you're not technically out of it just because, again, it's so every team is grouped together. There's only a few points separating from the teams at the top to the teams at the bottom. But at the same time, if you're not going on a bit of a winning streak, you're not really separating yourselves from the other teams that are desperately trying to get a win. So it just shows how tight it is in the standings. And I think it shows the importance of winning these games. And we do need to see some offense. Another thing, too, I want to talk about, obviously, Brindamore, he decided to change the lines in the third period. I had mixed feelings about it. To me, it wasn't the worst thing in the world just because we weren't getting any offense. But I think you had Stahl with Ehlers and Jarvis. And to be honest, I thought Ehlers was the only forward that was actually playing good that game. Because, again, I think a huge part of why the offense goes on these dry spells is the Canes players. If you look at their offense right now, and I'll admit right now, they are slow with the puck. Very slow. They're slow at getting a shot. They're slow at passing. They're a step behind the other team in terms of offensive ability, and you can't be like that. The name of the game right now in the NHL is speed. You gotta be quick, and they are not quick right now. So they're back to the line shuffling. It was Stahl with Ehlers and Jarvis. I think you had Aho in between Taylor Hall and Jackson Blake. And then you had KK with Robinson and Carrier. Or wait. I feel like I'm missing a player. Because Stankoven. Yeah, I'm probably missing a line in there somewhere. I think it was Stankoven was kind of down the middle. I'll look this up real quick. But I know I got most of those lines correct here. I am gonna look it up. And another thing too, I will admit I was a little bit thankful of Brendan Moore saying this after the game, but he said that game was an embarrassment, and I totally agree. Okay, so yeah, the Lions: Stahl, Jarvis, and Ehlers. Yep, got that right. Aho, Blake Hall, Stanko, Svetch, Martinuk, KK, Robinson, and Carrier. I mean, again, I didn't really mind those lines at that point just because we weren't generating anything. But, like, it's frustrating. It really is. The Hurricanes need to get back to the offense if they can. And if they can't, then you're probably going to need to get, and I will throw this out there. I know there are a lot of Hurricane fans that are saying it. You got to get a big guy in here that can win you faceoffs. I feel like that is the number one need right now. Now, I realize this at the same time too. It is going to be hard. Very, very hard to get a player like that because almost every team is asking for a second line center in the NHL. So I don't know where they get it from. Do they go to, Kevin Adams was in the building. Do they go to him and be like, hey, well, who do you want for Tage Thompson? Or St. Louis, who do you want for Robert Thomas? So hopefully this is just a dud and they can get out of it. I think that's the best thing we can say right now. I mean, you don't want to overreact. And I would say the one positive, even though offense has been really struggling very, very hard, at least we're not on a losing streak because that would be very, very bad. And there would be very, very big questions. So that's it for covering the San Jose game and Nashville game and for this episode. So I will see you guys Friday.